Hello everybody. Today we are riding with Rome and Ryan. Today's topic is going to be about the top 5 mods for the Indian Scout. So this list is in no particular order because different people are going to need different things and get more satisfaction out of changing their bike in different ways. This is personally what I would recommend you think about changing on the Scout. What's up, guys? So first on the list, we have the exhaust. Now, the exhaust is going to be something you're going to want to change for multiple reasons. One might be for performance. 2 might be just for aesthetics, and then 3rd might be for safety. To change out the exhaust, it does take a little bit of time and patience, a tiny bit of mechanical know-how, but if you do a slip-on exhaust, it is very simple and straightforward. The hardest part might just be getting the old exhausts off and the new ones in. That does take a bit of finesse and some brute force just to get them off and on. So they can be a little finicky, it can be a little bit difficult. The next thing you may want to change out is the headlight. Now, if you have the bobber version, I've actually seen the headlight for the bobber version, and I think the headlight for the bobber is pretty good actually, so I don't think you'll need to change that. But if you have the normal Scout like I do, definitely you want to change out the headlight for something that's much brighter. One, for aesthetics as well as safety. That will make a pretty big difference, and it's really easy to change it out as well. One of the easiest modifications you can make to your Scout. It's literally undoing a screw, take out a couple of plugs, plug in the new one, and you're done. The next thing on the list is the handlebars. Now, I currently have the mini apes from Indian on here, but I will be changing these out, so do make sure you subscribe to see what new handlebars I end up getting. If you have been paying attention to my channel for some time, you probably have a good guess about the handlebars I'm getting, but we'll be doing a whole installation video for that as well. But the handlebars is going to help with your ergonomics, and that's going to be one of the big things that you can do to help your ride get more comfortable. So swapping out the handlebars, that can vary in difficulty. If you get something that's much larger or much higher up, then where you'll need to swap out your brake line or your clutch cable, then it becomes more difficult overall, but the process is still straightforward. It's not difficult, it's just a little tedious, and it does take a little bit of mechanical know-how. And having the right tools will certainly help that process be much easier. But if you're swapping out the handlebars for something that's of similar size, where you don't need to swap out the cables, then for the most part, it's just undo a couple screws, take out the new ones, take all the hardware off, put in the new handlebars, slide everything back on, and you're done. Now, the next 2 modifications are a little similar. They're both going to have similar impact on your enjoyment of the bike. So the first one we'll talk about is your seat. It's okay. It's actually not bad in my opinion, but it could be better. And so I swapped it out for a Corbin seat. And with Corbin seats, they're really well made. They're firm, but they do provide a lot of support. And they actually make a substantial difference in terms of comfort, as well as being able to control the bike. So that was one of the biggest surprises that I noticed when I first got my seat. Was just how much more control you get over the bike. Just because you can move your hips around but still get support and shift your weight where you need it to be, but it still feels very comfortable even on very, very long rides. And depending on the seat you get, it can also change the seat height, so it can help make you get lower if you need to be lower down to the ground or a little bit higher. So it can slightly change your ergonomics depending on what kind of seat you get and what you need. For the seat, it might be a little bit difficult. I actually didn't install the seat because where I live, I was not too far off from a Corbin factory. So I was able to actually bring in my bike, and they were able to install everything, and I would tell them, hey, here's the type of seat I want that day, and then they would be able to build it. And then they installed the bracket and everything else that was needed to have the seat installed onto the bike. So I actually can't speak to how difficult it is to install the bracket, but I don't think it's too bad. But it might be a little bit time consuming, at least for the Corbin seats. I'm not sure about other seats. So that is something you may want to look at if you are considering changing your seat, is what modifications will you need to make in order to install the seat. And the last mod that I would recommend you consider for the Indian Scout are changing the shocks. Now, the stock shocks for the Indian Scout are, again, not bad, but for me, because I'm a little bit bigger and because I do tulip, it would be something, it is something that definitely helped me and my wife, Tiny Tater, to be more comfortable on the bike. And for the shocks, it was pretty easy. It just helps if you will just need to have a stand to lift up the bike. And just the right equipment to undo the screws and get everything else aligned. But that process is pretty straightforward and pretty easy to do. So the 5 modifications I recommend that you make to your Scout to change the ergonomics, to change the performance, to change your comfort and handling of the bike are going to be your exhaust, your headlight, your handlebars, your seat, and the shocks. Now, as a bonus thing that you may want to consider changing for your bike or adding onto your Scout is a Sissy bar. So I have a 24-inch Sissy bar with the passenger pad, and it has come in handy so often. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've needed to pack something up, and not having to wear a backpack is really nice. I've worn a backpack for a while when I first bought the Scout and for my previous bike, and for longer rides it sucked. My shoulders would be killing me. It was uncomfortable. If the backpack wasn't strapped down properly, it'd be sliding all over the place. But having a Sissy bar, you can just tie down everything, makes a big difference. So that's another consideration that I would recommend, is getting a Sissy bar. If you are considering changing those out, I do highly recommend you check out Dean Speed. By the way, this isn't a sponsored video. I'm just a huge fan of Dean Speed. They are a fabricator. They make handlebars, they make the exhaust, they make Sissy bars. They make a ton of cool stuff. And so I do recommend you check them out. And if you do find something that you like, I recommend you use the code VALORCYCLE to get 5% off your entire purchase. So I currently have the Dean Speed exhaust, the Sissy bar, and the crash guards. And you know, I won't spoil the handlebars while I'm in the beginning, but again, you can probably guess. But 5% off, you know, not a bad deal. And they got great quality products. So highly recommend them. So do consider them if you are considering modifying those specific things for your bike. So, alright everybody, fairly short video, but hopefully it'll be something that was enjoyable. Hopefully it was something that helped you out if you have an Indian Scout and you are considering making some modifications to it. And you're not quite sure where to start or how difficult it will be to make those modifications or what kind of modifications to get. So if you have any questions at all, leave a comment down below and I will be more than happy to respond. Alright everybody, that's going to be it for today. As always, be brave, do good, take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.